back. Enjoy Kentucky and Texas A&M with a semifinal spot on the line in Nashville. Ogana Onyenso wins a tip. DJ Wagner controls the offense for the Cats, second in the nation, nearly 90 points a game. Wagner guarded by Radford. Here's Adu Thiero. And Justin Edwards has come on big time in the last 3 weeks. Cats using some clock here. Wagner trying to feel him out. The kick to Edwards, and the southpaw fires, but can't knock it down. Loose ball picked up by Onyenso. Antonio Reeves, leading scorer for this Kentucky team. And he draws a foul. Antonio Reeves is trying to become just the second player under John Calipari, Kentucky, to end the season averaging better than 20 points a game. He is the veteran presence and perhaps the most reliable player on this Kentucky team.
I think a year ago he takes that shot from 25 feet. Instead, this year he pump fakes, gets the defense in the air, and goes to the rack to draw the foul.
88% from the free throw line, one of the top scorers in the SEC, 20.2 a game. Coming off of a 27-point performance in Kentucky's season-closing win on the road on Rocky Top. They won 85-81. 1 of 2 from the line. Boots Radford has it. What about tempo? How does A&M control that on the offensive end?
You're seeing it right here. They don't do a lot of advanced passes. They're walking up the court kind of like a pickup game, and they'll get it to their playmakers' hands where they got a three-headed monster, including Obaseki with the ball to complement the other two guards.
He has been aggressive. Nobody touched it. Obaseki just moved in the starting lineup a few games ago, and he splashes down his first attempt.
Well, second chance points is what A&M lives off of. That is a huge part of their offense.
Coming off a 25-point game, here's Thiero. Been playing with that bandaged left thumb for about a week. Reeves fires from 3. And Wildens-Levesque pulls down the rebound. Wade Taylor fires from deep. Got it! What a start for A&M. If they're going to be aggressive, they best not miss.
This kid loves the big stage. He's built for moments like this.
31 in the previous matchup with 6 threes in Aggie land. And a Kentucky turnover. Taylor gets past Edwards. Fancy move and banks it in. And a timeout taken by John Calipari. A&M has rushed out to an 8-1 lead. He is
the second chance 3 by Obaseki.
A&M leads the country in offensive rebounding percentage. Here's Edwards on the corner kick. And the rebound is knocked out of bounds by Obaseki. John Calipari trying to get to Kentucky back to semifinal Saturday at the least, and maybe another championship. 24 wins, third all-time is next with time with Billy Donovan and help him pass the great Wimp Sanderson from Alabama.
We mentioned Kentucky gets better as they go to their bench. So does Anderson Garcia, 11 to black. This guy impacts winning more than anybody and a role player in the SEC. There he is with a rebound already.
Wagner threw it away, looking for Onyenso. Boots Radford finds Anderson, not an offensive threat except going to the glass, and gets that one rejected by Onyenso. Kentucky third in the country in block percentage. Chance to push. Here's Thiero. Went to the floor. Taylor scrapping for it. It ends up in the hands of Wagner, and now Reeves is open. Bang! Antonio Reeves.
What relocation by Reeves. Smart play. He was on the whole other side of the court and saw everybody swarming towards the ball. And he comes back ball side to get himself open. Check out 12 in white. He's not just standing there. Gets an angle for Wagner to kick it out to him. He WWE intro music like some broken glass. Stone Cold Reed Shepherd coming into the game. I mean, this is when Kentucky fans get excited because of the instant impact these guys have off the bench.
Here's Solomon Washington, and he's rejected. Second block of the game for the Cats. Thiero doing the honors that time.
He's changed their identity defensively. Maybe they're not as good on the offensive end because you can't spread out with as many shooters, but he holds his own down low, does Thiero. With him and Onyenso coming along with the rim protection, they've been much better.
Taylor from the corner, off the baseline out of bounds, and he's got 8 of A&M's 11. Dillingham from Reeves. Got it. 45% from deep on the season for Rob Dillingham. Radford gives it up. Wants it back. Will fire. Here we go. We got a shootout brewing in Nashville. Dillingham gets cut off. Piero will help him out. And then he picks up the foul on the drive.
Well, guard play is absolutely elite in this game. And you see Dillingham, he comes off the bench. This guy just stays ready. That's his first touch, and he lets it fly and connects. And Radford turned down to look early. Then Kentucky just dares him to shoot it a little bit. And these guys, I'm telling you, that they have not been efficient with their first shot offense. But when they see those first few go in, they can be a real problem.
360th in the country in three-point percentage for Texas A&M. Adu Thiero has another free throw coming. He didn't play in the previous matchup. And here's Big Z. Zvonimir Visic on the floor from Vodice, Croatia. Home, they say, to the best oysters in the world. I talked to Big Z today. He said, that's not my thing. I hate oysters. Could you imagine being from the Commonwealth and not liking bourbon?
I'm from Memphis, like me saying I don't like the rendezvous. Come on, man. You got to embrace it.
Aggies have made 5 of their last 7. Here's Radford. This is a Kentucky team that generally you could describe as unselfish, to sacrifice to give up points in minutes. Taylor off the mark. Garcia first of many. And a wide open 3 from Carter into the hands of Piero. Great hands by Garcia, but that will send us to a break. They got to get this cleaned up. It will be Kentucky basketball.
Third scorer. We hadn't said his name much early in this one, but because he's a threat, that makes life easier on Radford and Taylor.
Meanwhile, this Kentucky team on a 5-game win streak finally healthy, and that includes Trey Mitchell. Talking with John Calipari at practice, he said, we've got to get more from Trey. He feels like when he missed so much time because of the shoulder injury, he was really rusty coming back, especially with the jump shot.
He spaces the floor better than Thiero does on this end of the court.
Whoa, Dillingham lost his man and banked it in.
Crossed him like a bad friend. Not talking about you, Tom.
Still waiting for you to pay me back that $20. And they get Dillingham as he tied up Taylor, and he's saying, hey, he's grabbing me and pulling me close to him.
He has got incredible speed, and you sit down and you try to guard him. Man, that is tough. With a little hezzy, crosses him up. And then the tough finish as well. You want to try to send him left if you can, make him finish at the rim on that side, but not much you can do about that.
I think this is a really interesting defensive matchup. Dillingham trying to guard Taylor. If for nothing else, Wade Taylor IV is a veteran. He's been around a time or two. He knows how to trick you into fouls. He blew right past him that time. And the dump off to Garcia will result in a foul. And Ivisic, which is his first.
That is a great call, Tom, because as dangerous as Dillingham is on the offensive end, he can also be a liability at times on this end of the court. So opposing coaches are saying, hey, we're going to go at 0 in white on this end. See if we can't frustrate Coach Cal with the defensive effort and maybe get him out of the game on the other end of the court.
A&M has played in the championship game in consecutive seasons. They have 9 players on this roster with 50 games of SEC tournament experience. The problem for Buzz each of the last 2 years, when they made it to that Sunday, they were just about out of gas and got blown out both times. And it'll come in for Anderson Garcia at a Mocha in the Dominican Republic. 1 of 2, Mitchell with the board. Shepard sees the floor so very well. He's a great lead passer. Here's Ivisic. And Garcia gets whistled. Zvonimir Ivisic is 7'2". He's hit 38% of his threes. He's a guy that, while he's playing the 4, you got to come guard him at 25 feet. Buzz was still talking with the officials when that ball was inbounded. And Owen Short will stop it, and John Calipari says, what are we doing here? I cannot imagine we'd have theatrics between these two coaches.
He wasn't able to sub his player in at Tennessee in the last regular season game. Got a technical for it.
And there's a quick whistle, and Mitchell called for the shot.
Here's why I think Coach Calipari might like that, because A&M is so aggressive on the offensive rebounds. He's going to use that against these officials to say, all right, if that's how you're calling this game, you better call it on this end of the court when A&M pushes us in the back for these second chance opportunities.
Oh, he would love for this to be a game in which the officials would take the physicality away. Shepard knocked it back, and then Taylor got a shot up. Big Z the board. Here's Shepard to Antonio Reeves. Floater off the window and in.
Is there a softer touch in college basketball than Antonio Reeves? I haven't seen one.
Sounds like Rupp. And an A&M turnover. A&M got off to a hot start. They've made 4 of their 5 field goals from behind the arc. Shepard kicks it back out to Dillingham, guarded by Washington. To Reed Shepard, 50% from deep. He drives and shares, and it's stripped away. Great hands by Henry Coleman. Washington left alone. And Shepard knocks it back with the steal. First bucket for Reed Shepard tonight. Here's Taylor downhill. High off the glass. Push for the catch. Here's Reeves. Knocked away again. Dillingham's head fake cleared some space, and now Mitchell keeps it alive. And with the left hand, the Cats have the lead. Timeout. Texas A&M.
Especially early in the clock.
A&M is only 1 for 6 from 2 to start this game. And remember, 360th in the country in three-point percentage on the year. Taylor guarded by Shepard. Out to Washington. And he drains it. Solomon Washington with the 3. A&M back in front. Reeves behind Mitchell, got deep and got a push up.
Solomon Washington's effort there was incredible. I mean, they got caught on the switch. He wasn't sure if he should take Reeves or not. But the number one thing you don't want to do is leave the ball. And he finds a way to stay in front of Antonio Reeves, who's having one of the best seasons in recent memory for Kentucky. And it's going to really sell that push off there. Didn't extend very far, did Reeves, but just enough for Washington to get that call.
Just because the block charge rule is 99% blocks this season doesn't mean you can't still pick up offensive fouls, and A&M is as good as anybody out.
Yeah, especially as a primary defender. It's a secondary defender coming over that's essentially been eliminated from the charge opportunities.
Oh, Baskey gets all the way to the rim. He is turned into an offensive weapon. He came off the bench in the previous matchup with Kentucky as a backup point guard. Now he's their 3rd option on offense, and he is a go-go guy.
He's lefty, but he is very comfortable going right, and they clear out space extremely well down low in the post.
Hayden Hefner could not stay in front of Dillingham. Hefner was a starter earlier this season.
This is why the lane was so open, Tom. You see Garcia just getting in there, getting the big rim protector out of the way.
It's like you leading the way into Tootsie's last night. Lower Broadway was packed. Kentucky turnover and a failed Dillingham drive. Radford wide open in transition. Another early shot for A&M. Now the Cats the other way. Dillingham got fancy and left it short. Washington was all alone. They can't find him. Radford, nothing doing on that drive. Just a little sloppy on both ends. Shepard now. Wagner to Mitchell. And another foul on Hefner. That'll be an and one.
Date in the NCAA tournament.
To go back to your Auburn comment, they really do it on both ends of the floor, illuminated by the fact that they have 27 kill shots this season. That's 10-0 runs. 27, it's the most in the SEC, one of the most in the country. And they had another one, maybe two of them today. You think A&M was moving a little quick in the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think you got to slow it down. Have these go 15 seconds or under.
Basky disagrees with you, but Garcia keeps it alive. 4.5 offensive rebounds a game for Anderson Garcia for an A&M team that pulls down 42% of their misses. And with that extra opportunity, they end up getting a whistle on the drive. And it's the first on Justin Edwards.
Well, Radford, such a physical driver. When he drives, he's not looking to pass on the interior. And as much as you try to send him right, he's going to find a way to come back left as he did there.
How do you think the folks in blue feel about the whistle?
Well, I hope Aaron Bradshaw at the scores table knows that they're pulling the replay.
Another one coming for Radford. A&M has played in the finals each of the last two seasons. Once they were a bubble team, the other time they were in, that was last year. They missed out on it 2 years ago, ended up in the NIT, and felt underseeded after that great late season run last year. They have certainly sent a message to the selection committee with the run already here in Nashville and being on a 4-game win streak in March. 6-point lead thanks to a 7-0 run. Shepard guarded by Jace Carter. Shepard gets another look from three and drills this one. He grew up coming to this event. Of course, his dad played here, and he grew up a huge Kentucky fan. Not only the most outstanding player of the Final Four, but also a dad who brought his kid to Kentucky games in the regular season and the tournament. Good block by Bradshaw, but Hefner cleans it up.
We'll see if A&M stays in that zone again. If they do, they better locate shooters, because this is not the same Kentucky team a year ago.
Shepard again.
Like, you got to get out of it now.
He leads the country with a 53% three-point rate, and he had 7 of them on Rocky Top on Saturday. Loose ball. Garcia on the floor along with Mitchell. It will be Texas A&M basketball. How about Reed Shepard?
Just amazing how efficient and consistent he's been. He's always shot ready, but A&M decides to go zone 2 possessions in a row. And if you're going to do that, you better know where number 15 is and run him off that 3-point line. He can certainly get inside on the mid-range and to the rack, but he is most dangerous from 3.
And listen, it's not uncommon for Reed Shepard to be in the building late shooting, or I suppose as a fan, right?
Him and his dad went to plenty of these SEC tournaments growing up. He was telling me in 2011 they went to the one in Atlanta. They got a suite. He was here all day with dad watching basketball till the very last game of the night. They fell asleep on the couch in the suite. They didn't wake up till 2 in the morning. The whole arena was empty.
There's Taylor for 3. That's one way to take it, and that's getting the most out of the ticket, I believe. 3 threes for Taylor. Shepard has hit a couple himself. Shepard cut off, lost it for a moment. Here's Edwards, and as he's shooting the ball with confidence, that one hit the rim twice but couldn't go. A&M by 5. Taylor pulls, and Wagner tracks it down. Wagner never gave it up. Aggie's transition defense has been pretty good here in the first 11 minutes. Taylor downhill, and they'll call that goaltending and count it. 13 points for Wade Taylor early on.
A&M has showed if they reverse that at the media timeout, as you mentioned. But A&M's willingness to run with Kentucky has gotten them some easy buckets.
Shepard finds Edwards, and now to Wagner. Good. DJ Wagner. talking with this Kentucky coaching staff, they said if you didn't know anything about our team, you should know that these are guys that are unselfish and they know that they have to sacrifice, whether that's minutes or points or opportunities, and it has paid off in a big way with a team that is red hot. Loose ball, Wagner found it, now Thiero corrals. Here's Shepard. I don't know if any of the folks across from us have sat down yet. Thiero to Edwards. Blew the bunny, and it's ripped out of there by Henry Coleman III. Obaseki to Radford. Hard to the rim, and the layup's good. A&M extends its lead to 6.
Do we have some athletes on the court or what? I mean, how quick did A&M get that ball up the court for the easy 2? Kentucky must get back in transition.
Calipari screaming instructions to Onyenso. He wanted the ball screen for Shepard, whose floater goes. That is a tough shot for a guy that will be a lottery pick, and that was not expected once he came in from the 606 in the summer.
And just fading to his left and still able to stay on balance. Tough shot.
Taylor got him on his hip and banks it in again. Wade Taylor's having a monster half. He's sitting on 17, and there's still 7 to play.
He is just unafraid of the competition. Rim protection comes over. He says, no problem. 6 foot out of Dallas, Texas, takes care of it.
Onyenso has it stripped. They're getting Radford for the foul. Percent from deep. They got a better percentage from deep than they do from inside the arc. Only 40% from twos. That is not normal for Texas A&M. Stolen away by Radford. Shepard on top of him ends up picking up the foul.
Just the aggressiveness there by A&M. Kentucky not strong enough with the ball here. I mean, you got to handle this. And Shepard acts like he wasn't sure if he was going to get the ball, but of course you are from Onyenso out there. And they fumble the exchange, and A&M dive into the deck.
6 turnovers for Kentucky here in the first 12 minutes of this game. And Radford going to the free throw line, 70% from the stripe on the season.
Tom, this is such a big part of their offense as well. We talked about their second chance points, which is 13-1 in their favor. The free throw line is huge too. During league play, they were second best. 23% of their points come from the stripe.
Tuesday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the app. SEC Insight gets you an all-access pass to this year's men's basketball tournament. Never before seen footage. Sound from players and coaches, a real behind-the-scenes look. Boots Radford splashes both free throws down. To your point about A&M at the line, they get 23% of their points from the free throw line. Another sloppy pass and a turnover, 7th of the game. The feed finishes with Washington, and A&M has extended its lead to double figures.
Calipari told us in shoot-around today, he said, look, Reed Shepard does some of these careless plays at times. I need to take him out after one to settle him down because another one may come right after that. Hence, you see Wagner coming in the game.
Back-to-back turnovers involving Shepard. And A&M with its largest lead.
Did not think the Aggies would have the advantage in transition, but here they are, 11-4 against this high-powered Kentucky offense.
Well, that is just all house money, right? I mean, they're able to pad this lead, and another takeaway, and they haven't even gotten to their strengths for the most part. Taylor from the logo. That was aggressive. They have the freedom to do that in large part because they're such an elite offensive rebounding team. Dillingham dishes to Onyenso for the easy look.
Wade Taylor has the green light, but as the point guard for a team trying to make the NCAA tournament, you've got to have better shot selection than that one.
It's not just green, it's like highlighter green.
There's no light. It's just no traffic lights. Just go as fast as you want whenever you want.
Obaseki dancing with it, trying to work on Mitchell. And a long two. And a foul on the floor underneath the basket will be charged to Antonio Reeves. Second on the Chicago native. And A&M in the bonus.
See what happens here on the box out. The defense by Mitchell. And When you have the opponent on your back and he jumps, you have to jump with him. You can't keep riding him while he's in the air. So while Reeves had pretty good position, a physical box out, that's a tough position to be in as a player. But you've got to jump with him. You can't just keep undercutting him.
Shepard back in. Reeves sits with 2. Radford 4 for 4 from the line. His first miss. Dillingham trying to get through traffic. A lot of hand fighting on these drives. Shepard all alone. His third 3 hits the bottom of the net. Shepard's got 13.
I love how Coach Calipari says, look, I'm going to take Reed out for a couple possessions and puts him right back in. Corrects it.
On their feet in Nashville, they cut the lead to 5. Taylor skating down the right side. Too strong. Dillingham has it and will push. Got Shepard on the wing. Takes it himself. Tough shot. Made it. Seven 0 Kentucky run. This is a veteran A&M team. They don't seem flustered at all. Solomon Washington says we are not. And a look over his shoulder for the Kentucky bench.
A 25% three-point shooter during conference play, and he's hit some big ones in this SEC tournament.
Dillingham yanks. He was feeling it. Just a flurry of activity in this first half. Remember, this game in A&M in January went to overtime, was decided in the 90s. Another Kentucky rejection. Fierro out front, gathers, takes it up, gets it pinned. Here comes A&M the other way. Numbers for the Aggies. Taylor transition 3. What a turn of events. The block on one side and the Taylor splash on the other.
Nothing easy at the rim. A ton of contact, collisions on both ends of the court. No calls. Taylor gets rewarded with the open 3.
18 first half points for Wade Taylor the 4th. Shepard touched on Yenso. Changed direction and couldn't hit the baby hook. Aggies have made 15 buckets, 8 of them from behind the arc. They only average 7 made threes per game. They are playing from the perimeter out of their minds in this first half. Shot clock at 9. Obaseki on Dillingham. Shot clock at 2. At 1. It goes up and goes in. It's a 2 for Radford.
That is something else. I mean, Dillingham does a great job guarding Obaseki, forces a tough contested one. Better offense.
Wagner gets the whistle and they'll count it. PJ Wagner will try to make my limitations. That foul, by the way, was on Anderson Garcia. That's his second. If A&M comes back to earth and has to rely on offensive rebounding, that might be an issue going forward. But so far, they've just made too many shots. Good problem to have. 57% from 3.
Well, here's the other problem is A&M's pretty good with their first shot offense. When they've missed, they've gotten in and putting it in too. So Kentucky can't even clean up the glass.
Cats had cut it thanks to a 7-0 run to a 3-point game. And then in 96 seconds, they went from down 3 to down 11. So second on Edwards, and with A&M in the bonus, they'll go right back to the free throw line. They've already attempted 7. John Calipari running through his personnel will get Edwards on the bench. Here's Tyrese Boots Radford. He is the lone 6'3" smaller player in college basketball with over 1,500 points and 750 rebounds.
One thing that does concern me for Kentucky is that game in, game out, you really aren't sure who the best 5 is. They've got some great talent. But does John Calipari truly know, like, hey, when we're in a situation like this, what's my best 5 to put in there and it seems to vary game to game.
You use the word talent. I would take it just a hair further and say who's the most reliable.
Yes.
Because they are all talented, including Dillingham, who took a bump and still got it in. He's got 9.
And you got to have two-way players, guys that can do that on that end of the court, but then guard their man on this end. See if Dillingham can step up here on Obaseki.
Big assignment for the freshman. Obaseki loses him and goes into Fierro and gets it blocked by Big Z. And they're going to get Adu Fierro for his first personal foul. Manny Obaseki has totally changed the identity of this A&M team on the offensive end.
Another guy that you can just ISO a little bit. As soon as the hands go down, the officials are ready to blow the whistle. Big Z puts his hands up. But if you stay there, build a wall, you'll force a tough 2, clean up the glass, go the other way.
Obaseki over the last 4 games has turned into a 19-point-a-game scorer. On the season, he averages only 6. It's some big-time athletic plays in their matchup in January. Here's the numbers. The minutes have nearly tripled. The points per game have leapt from 4 to 17.5.
You wondered after he played well at Georgia early in March if that was a one-hit wonder, but then he did it again and again, and then even last night. So it gives them that 3rd score that they hadn't had all season.
Eight-point A&M lead. I would surmise that if you polled the Kentucky coaching staff and you said, hey, this is going to be a race to 50 at halftime, they would be happy with that, thinking that that would play right into their hands, especially from a tempo standpoint. Shepard again, off to the left. Rebounded by Washington. Under 2 to play in the first half. A berth in the Saturday semifinals on the line. Taylor whips it to the corner to Washington. Shepard takes the long rebound and leads the break. Takes it all the way in and is able to draw the whistle.
To have that sort of instinct to collect that defensive rebound, push the fast break, and nothing fancy. You just got the defender backpedaling, simple left to right crossover, get yourself to the rack. This is why he's such an efficient player. He just keeps it really simple, gets right past that hip, gets the angle, now to the free throw line.
So first on Wade Taylor the 4th. Reed Shepard 84% from the free throw line. Has one more coming. He is a 67% shooter at the rim. That is a big time finisher for a guy who's only 6'3". Half of A&M's makes have come from deep. Washington in the corner. That has been a killer spot for Kentucky. That corner 3. Shot clock at 9. Radford gets the screen. Goes down on Big Z. And Wagner pulls down the rebound. Yisic may have taken a shot to the chops. Wagner crosses over. Now Shepard in the paint. Wagner with the left, and it's rebounded by Washington, and Fierro banged into him to commit his second. 53 seconds left in the half. What do you think is the message in the Kentucky locker room at the break?
They've got to get stops on the defensive end. As good as their offense is, if they're just going to bet on scoring 100+ to beat teams, that's just not going to be good enough. This is the concern for Kentucky. It has been all year. While they've made progress defensively, we've said it before, they've got a Final Four offense with a round of 32 defense, and that's what concerns you in March Madness.
So Solomon Washington, 70% free throw shooter at the line, his first attempt of this game. Aggies now 7 of 12 from the free throw line. Mitchell returns. Fierro sits with a pair of personal fouls. Solomon Washington, sophomore from New Orleans out of Carver High School. He was the Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year in 2022. Makes 1 of 2. Dillingham draws a double. Wagner keeps it in his hands. 15 on the shot clock. Wagner down the lane, wanted to pass it while Mitchell was sealing. Now Dillingham to the baseline. Scoop shot ends up in a foul on Washington.
Shifty doesn't even begin to describe Rob Dillingham's game. We've just seen him be able to wiggle through the defense here, and when you looks like you got nothing, you got a help defender come over. He finds a way to get underneath that arm and gets himself to the free throw line. Such a tough cover.
Rob Dillingham, freshman from Hickory, North Carolina, named the SEC 6th man of the year. Got a little jump shot to his free throw game. Talked to him earlier in the season. He said, that's just how I've always done it. 6'3" freshman, played at overtime elite before coming to Lexington. I suppose they had to find a way to share the honors between freshman of the year and 6th man of the year between Shepard and Dillingham.
Yeah, but both certainly deserving. And Dillingham was a guy whose reputation coming into Kentucky was an energy taker. Yet all he's been for this Kentucky team has been an energy giver, whether he's on the court or on the bench cheering for his teammates.
27 bench points for Kentucky. Mostly Dillingham and Shepard as expected. Shot clock off for A&M. Aggies have led the majority of this game. Taylor fires with 12 and it skips off the rim. Cats have a shot at it.
I do not understand that shot.
Dillingham with 3. Draws plenty of attention. Out to Wagner at the buzzer. That could have been a big momentum jumper for the Cats, but we have a breakneck pace. The Aggies put 48 on the board. Taylor, Radford, and Obaseki, the backcourt. What did John Calipari have to say?
Yeah, he said Texas A&M played out of their minds in the first half. He said, we haven't played our best. We're down just 6. He told his guys, just settle in and play our game. One thing he wasn't happy about, the 13 second chance points for Texas A&M. He said, it's something we emphasize to our guys coming in, so I challenge them. You got to get to the rim.
I think every coach emphasizes that. It would be coaching malpractice if you didn't, as Antonio Reeves throws in a 3. But Dane, it's one thing to tell your guys they're really good on the offensive glass. You got to keep them off. It's another thing to execute because they are the best in the nation.
Yeah, and they didn't give up too many offensive rebounds. There was actually only 6, but A&M was 5 of 6 on those second chance opportunities and make it 6 of 7.
Yeah, there's that 7th offensive rebound. Willens-Levesque doesn't give him much offense, but able to cash in there. And now a trap out to midcourt and a near steal, but a whistle against A&M. And that will be the 2nd on Wade Taylor.
You want to get your message across after halftime, and you hate to give up an offensive board. It just takes a weird bounce as Onyenso gets pushed under the glass, and getting those extra buckets, they add up. So you don't have to over-rely on your backcourt. Levesque gives them 2.
Already working with a 5-point cushion. Wagner dishes to Fierro, and it falls off the rim, but the foul will be charged to Manny Obaseki.
A nice set play there. When you use Reeves as a screener, nobody wants to become detached from him. So you get no help. You got to guard the ball, and a great back cut out of the corner by Fierro.
Here's Adou Fierro, 6'8", 222. Out of Leedsdale, Pennsylvania. He's 2 inches taller this year than he was last. He has matured. His body is much more physical. And he's the guy that can finish at the rim. Gave him 2 points and 2 boards a game last year as a freshman.
And everybody knows Kentucky gets better as they go to their bench, but this starting 5 must get Kentucky off to a better start in this half than they did to start this game when they found themselves down 8-1.
Cal wants his guys to pick up earlier. Radford gets right past Reeves, blew by him and spun it in. What a shot. And Fierro crumpled on top of Radford.
I am surprised that wasn't called an and one with a block. A lot of contact there at the basket, but we've seen the officials let him play quite a bit. And to me, that's a block on Onyenso. 2 points nonetheless.
You feel like they're letting him play a little bit tonight?
Yeah, and it's tricky down there because when you're getting pushed by the big man for A&M, you get out of position, but there's an attack at the rim. Blow the whistle there.
It's a first on Lebec. They put Piero at the free throw line.
This is a very difficult league to officiate because you've got the best athletes in the country. They're strong, they have great vertical, and they attack that rim.
Piero, an 80% free throw shooter on the year. 3 for 4 tonight. Don Calipari told Alyssa that A&M was just playing out of their minds in the first half, and the numbers back that up. 8 of 16 from 3. And I love what Buzz said going in the break. We're not going to win a beauty pageant or a track meet. They want to muck this thing up, slow it down, turn it into a back alley brawl. Despite the success they had running wide open in the first half. Radford crosses over Edwards, and another Kentucky block. That is the 8th block of the game for the Cats.
Edwards has really emerged this season, not only with his three-point shooting, but becoming a reliable defender. You got to be able to guard your own here, and the help was coming over, but Edwards didn't need it.
A&M had the home court advantage in Bryant College Station for their previous meeting, and it feels like the Cats have it here for this one, but Taylor going back to the free throw line. Antonio Reeves picks up his 3rd. And here's Taylor at the free throw line. He averages 4.5 free throw attempts, makes, I should say, per game. Makes his living there. Here's a guy who makes his living scoring points. Alabama, and Mark Sears ready to take the floor in the nightcap tonight. He had 33 in the last matchup with Florida in Gainesville, which was a Gators blowout.
Some of these games in the SEC tournament give teams an opportunity to reset, and sometimes it's revenge, because that game you just mentioned, Alabama has revenge on their minds after they laid down a little bit against that Florida team.
Wade Taylor already at 20. It's his 12th 20-point game of the season. Dillingham kicks it back out, shot clock at 10, and now Piero. And he slid across the inline.
A lot of standing on that possession for Kentucky in the half court.
Turnover number 9. Dillingham entering a little bit earlier than normal because of the foul for Antonio Reeves. Soon we see Shepard at the 16-minute mark. Taylor for 3. And Washington tracks it down 23 feet from the hoop.
That's where they get so many of their offensive rebounds. Those long shots, long rebounds become 50-50 balls that their big men expect.
Obaski spins on Dillingham. And that one's out of bounds. Will stay this way. A team offensive rebound this time for A&M.
Tom, I do think A&M's guards need to drive to pass more, because the rim protection is coming, and you've got a big coming opposite. Be able to do one more pass at the rim. You should have an easy 2 down low.
Only a 50% assist rate for A&M here tonight. Shepard will check in next dead ball. Obaski behind Garcia's screen. Got all the way down for the jam. Where did that come from? And he tells the 7-footer on Yenso, too small.
And it starts with a blow by with the on-ball defender as he gets to that strong hand, and he is a heck of an athlete.
Edwards pull up for 10. Rebounded by Garcia. 7-point A&M lead, trying to add to it. Here's Taylor downhill. And Piero able to push it ahead after the rebound to Wagner. Dillingham trying to pick up the pace. Onyenso couldn't handle it. 3-on-1. Obaski behind his back. Radford has all day. But an empty transition attempt for Buzz Williams in Texas A&M.
But it still seems like A&M's the aggressor on both ends of the court right now, as Reed Sheppard waits to check in to calm things down and get a better offensive possession.
Handoff for Wagner from 14 feet.
Nice play by Wagner. Just read and probed the defense there, handled the ball screen coverage. Nice midi.
Every time Kentucky has put together a mini run or hit a big bucket, the Aggies have had an answer. Taylor tried to cross over, went off of Wagner. Slew of subs and a line change for Kentucky. Trev Alberts taking over as the new director of athletics, leaving Lincoln and Nebraska to move to Aggieland. Going to do a great job at A&M. Taylor fighting through a screen. He can shoot from anywhere. Spins on Sheppard, got his hands on it, flips it up. It wouldn't have just been the most A&M thing ever for Wade Taylor to have blindly thrown that in.
The way things are going tonight for A&M offensively, anything can happen, but you see the quick hands of Reed Sheppard.
That is only the third turnover of the game for Texas A&M. They're not an elite shooting team, yet they don't turn the ball over, and they get extra possessions through offensive rebounds, and that is how they play their way in. In and out for Dillingham.
To your point, Tom, if you want to keep Kentucky out of transition, you must limit those live ball turnovers, which is exactly what the Aggies have done.
Radford on the handoff, guarded by the freshman DJ Wagner. And through traffic down the lane, spins it off the glass.
He's just so good at getting back to that left hand. He had two rim protectors right there, and he still is able to slice through them, get to the other side of the basket.
47% of his shots come at the rim, and he finishes most of them. Wagner rises. Another missed three, but Mitchell is on the glass. Dillingham shares it through Visish, and he throws it in.
A big play by Mitchell. I mean, you've got to own that matchup against Garcia. It's usually Garcia that never gives up an offensive rebound to the other team, yet Mitchell comes through.
Taylor nearly walked with it. Everybody in blue saw it travel. Radford down the lane. Again off the glass. The touch for Boots Radford is simply amazing. He's got 18 tonight. Sheppard crosses him over. Back out to Dillingham. Oh, Big Z with the big follow. And he'll go to the free throw line. Meanwhile, an injury at midcourt. Solomon Washington is locked up and cramping. Garcia committed the foul, which was his third.
Solomon Washington, as Coach Buzz Williams describes, OKGs, our kind of guys. And that's exactly what the sophomore from New Orleans, Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Louisiana from the 9th Ward. Nobody tougher than that guy. I'd be surprised if he doesn't do everything he can to get back in.
He has been dealing with cramps this entire game. And that one turned into a debilitating. Leg he jumped off of to try and get the block, and then reached for the right leg.
You talk about an all-out contest that causes that injury. You talk about a sense of urgency to close out on a big-time shooter, make him shoot over the top. That's max effort right there.
So Visish to the free throw line, 83% on the year. Last 2 seasons he was playing in the Adriatic League. SC, Derby, and Montenegro.
Still one of the coolest moments of the regular season in the SEC was his debut, was it not? I mean, that was magical.
He had 3 blocks. Arrived in Lexington on October 12th. The first meal he had was a steak eaten on a paper plate. He told me that day, I love this steak. We got to put on some weight, and he's going to keep chomping away. But he had to deal with a lot of different issues. Health issues throughout the course of the season, some minor injuries, went back home at one point, finally came back to Lexington. It hasn't been an easy transition for him.
Well, and it hasn't been easy to figure out the rotation for Coach Calipari. You got guys in and out. But the selflessness of this Kentucky team and the spirit they have and team before self mindset is what's allowed them to have such success in the regular season.
Aggies lead by 6. Radford going to work. Fading on Shepard, who gets whistled for the foul, which will be the second on the freshman from London, Kentucky.
Shepard did a nice job really preventing him from getting all the way to the rim. And
Cal said simply that was not a foul. He blocked it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty clean.
Radford spent 3 seasons playing for Buzz Williams at Virginia Tech. He didn't play his first year in Blacksburg. In fact, he didn't even have transportation to campus. He had to take a Greyhound bus from Baton Rouge to Blacksburg. That is not a direct route. He picked up the nickname Boots from Buzz because he told him he's like an old pair of work boots. He's tough and he's reliable. He sends the Aggie advantage to 7. See what Kentucky has drawn up. Shepard, quick drive on Washington, out to Dillingham. Great vision and an assisted 3 for Rob Dillingham from his classmate Reed Shepard.
Well, Robin Reed got these fans on their feet.
Taylor, too high off the window. Another offensive rebound, and Mitchell came down with the hack. It's the best duo in the Bluegrass. It's Robin Reed.
Well, and take a look at where Dillingham relocates. Doesn't just stand on the wing, comes to the top of the key, and Reed Shepard with terrific court vision. But every time it looks like this crowd is about to take over the game, it just seems like Kentucky can't get that stop. You get a score on one end, you got to follow it up with a stop to create some sort of mini run.
Henry Coleman started his college career at Duke. Got a little bit of Tobacco Road flavor to his background as well. He's from Richmond, Virginia, and at Trinity Episcopal. He was a high school teammate with Armando Bacot. They played together for 66 games. It's shocking, but they lost 5 of them. 2 for 2 for the line for Coleman.
And you do wonder, how long do you keep your All-American Antonio Reeves on the bench? Kentucky been doing a pretty good job offensively without him, but they're at their best when he's on the court. Those 3 personals.
Shepard sizing up Coleman at 6'9", and how about that? Ivisic with the throwdown. Cats 5 of 10 in the second half. Obaseki drives on Big Z, goes right through him and lays it in. There's no rim protection for Kentucky.
And they're just getting all the way to the rim as well. I mean, the rim protection's underneath the basket.
Feels like the Cats are content to have to win a shootout. Shepard tried to find Dillingham. Fade away, off the mark. Dillingham had already decided he was going to shoot that before he got the pass. Taylor into Mitchell. Banks it in. What a play by Wade Taylor, the 4th. He's got a 22-point night.
Wade Taylor limping a little bit like he might have a cramp. He's calling for one.
Drive him, right?
Yep.
Shepard Wills. Into the corner, Wagner. And an offensive rebound and a foul on the floor. Taylor's going to have to go see the trainer. What you learn in the Aggie huddle.
Solomon Washington's been over here getting stretched out, chugging Gatorade, electrolyte packets. You can tell he's still in pain, guys, but he desperately wanted to get back out on the floor. He's out there. Wade Taylor just getting stretched out by the trainer as well. But in that last huddle, Buzz Williams coming over to his team, hugging all of them, putting his hands on his shoulders, loving the effort that they're giving. Henry Coleman saying, guys, in this last 11 minutes, we all got to be disciplined. Players, coaches, everyone.
They are a disciplined team in many ways, especially the guys not named Taylor and Radford, who have full reign to do whatever they want on the offensive end. The Aggies starting guards, all three of them with Obaskier in double figures, and they've scored 51 of the Aggies' 67. Meanwhile, Kentucky's freshmen have contributed 36 of the Cats' 59.
Dare I say zone for Kentucky? Hadn't seen much of this, if any at all, under John Calipari, trying to slow down A&M.
Shepard creates a steal. Shepard for three. Went to the deck behind Carter. No whistle on that one. What does it take for John Calipari to play zone?
Moving up 67 with 10 minutes to go against an A&M team, trying to make them a three-point shooting team. As hot as they were, they're better from two.
Either that or the rapture. Here's Mitchell on the glass. Maybe it's one and the same. Cats have missed each of their last four. Dillingham turns it over into the hands of Obaskier. See what Buzz has drawn up. Radford in the gap. Nobody stops him. It'll stay with A&M. Wagner returns for Kentucky.
A&M just does such a good job of clearing space down low. And if you're a Kentucky help defender, you got to get around your five-man so you can bring help earlier.
Taylor back on the floor for the Aggies. He's got a game-high 22. He's made 4 of 10 from 3. Here's his 11th attempt. That is a very high number for this A&M team.
But in this second half, A&M had only attempted 2 3-point shots before those two. So that's what you want as Kentucky. Try to make them shoot themselves out of this game.
Trey Mitchell commits his third personal, fighting for the rebound. Fourteenth foul on Kentucky. A&M, to your point, 0 for 4 from deep this half. Obaskier drives with the left.
Whether it's zone or man, it's just blow-bys. And yes, the help defender could come sooner, but can there be any resistance and ball pressure on the perimeter?
Mitchell faces up, finds Shepard. Kentucky team that tonight defensively has 9 blocks, yet they still can't protect the rim. Wagner to the free throw line, tied up. Shepard with 2 on the shot clock, finds Mitchell, and he drew a foul as the shot clock was going to expire.
Really nice patience by Kentucky there to not force a bad shot, and Mitchell continuing to stay active. Nice dive to the basket.
Third on Solomon Washington. And it puts Trey Mitchell at the free throw line. Mitchell 74% of the season. He started his college career at UMass, into Texas, and then West Virginia. Tomorrow afternoon, it's Mizzou's annual black and gold spring shoulder injury. And before that, 2 games with a back injury. John Calipari telling us, I've been stopping practice to remind him, hey, DJ, tell him what it's like when you miss time. You become rusty, you lose your confidence. We need him to play better and start making some shots.
And that's a guy that held down the 5 spot early in this season and was a mismatch nightmare with his pick and pop ability, and they really survived non-conference until those 7-footers became available.
A&M 13 of 16 at the rim this game. Taylor from deep, and they are red hot from deep. 25 points for Wade Taylor, the 4th. Largest lead of the game for the Aggies at 12. Here's Reeves back to Onyenso. Piero down the lane with the hammer. Radford looking to drive on Shepard. They'll let the shot clock get to single digits. Here's the drive, a burst and a kick, and Jace Carter from the corner. Radford is able to draw the whistle on the rebound, and I think he just tricked everybody. He flailed as he left the ground with the ball way above his hands, and Reeves is the one that pays the price, picking up his fourth.
It seemed like a late whistle and an acting job by Radford.
It goes back to what we talked about in the first half. The experience that this A&M team has overall and in this event alone. They've got real guile. Obaseki into Onyenso. Collects the miss. Taylor tees it up. Another one right down the fairway. He's got 28.
So you get a fourth foul on your All-American that sends him to the bench on that questionable call, and it leads to 3 points for A&M. Oh, that's a tough break for Kentucky on that possession.
Cats need to turn it up on both ends. Wagner out to Dillingham, a deep two, good. Foot was over the line.
Get the sense this crowd needs to help this Kentucky team out, see if they can't get some tempo and momentum, because A&M has had an answer every single time Kentucky's gotten a score.
Taylor out to Carter. Who is this A&M team? They've made 11 threes in this game.
Well, and they're wide open. When you can't guard the ball, penetration kills. And right now, A&M is able to give...
Based on this late season run, not only a 5-game win streak, but they are an LSU putback at the buzzer away from having won 8 in a row. Here's Dillingham off the Visic screen, and now Shepard down the lane. Dillingham lost it on the drive. Empty possession for Kentucky. The Cats have turned it over 13 times.
His team, you know, control what you can control, and right now they must make great decisions on this end of the court. They've been known to take some questionable shots. Keep attacking that rim. Do not settle.
Buzz said we can't win a beauty pageant or a track meet. And even that being the case, they still have kept the throttle wide open on the offensive end, thanks in large part to Kentucky's lackadaisical man-to-man defense. Radford just worked Edwards, and it's the largest lead of the game for A&M.
That is a perfect possession. Take the shot clock way down intentionally, and then get the tough two at the rim.
Dillingham picks up the foul on Garcia. And that'll be the fourth on the A&M bid.
Radford just lowers his shoulder. He gets spacing by putting that right shoulder into the pump fake. And then as Kentucky has gone small, Mitchell doesn't provide the same rim protection that Onyenso does coming over. So they're trying to get more offensive firepower with 5 shooters to spread A&M out, but you give up something on the defensive end when you do that.
8th 20-point game of the season for Boots Radford. Another free throw coming for Rob Dillingham. Garcia sits with his 4th. Knocks them both down. 18 for Dillingham.
This is a Kentucky team that can score in bunches, and one reason the fans have loved this squad is their resiliency. A chance to show it here.
Go 3-quarter court. And a foul on Dillingham. That's his second. Under 6 to play. A&M leading by 14. Kentucky obviously needs to find some takeaways on the defensive end, or at the very least some stops, but I feel like Every time they extend the pressure, especially man-to-man, they open up a driving lane for these quick A&M guards.
I'd like to see maybe a double. Just get the ball out of the hands of guys like Taylor and Radford.
Radford saves it, but right to Wagner. And a 5-on-4, the Cats. Dillingham over to Shepard. And now to Wagner, who drives. Dillingham, top of the key, good. 21 for Rob Dillingham. 5.5 to play. The Cats still have life. And just like that, Taylor torches the defense and throws it in and rips it right back from him.
When you don't play much zone and you don't press often, you see some of those breakdowns. A&M able to get some shots that maybe they didn't expect.
This is the fourth 30-point game for Wade Taylor, the fourth against a top 25 opponent. Dillingham with an answer. Can they find some momentum?
You know he ain't going down without a fight.
Taylor working on Edwards and coaches him into a foul. Just break checked him right at midcourt. And A&M in the bonus.
Just a really heady play. You see a lot of high IQ guards do this, where they get the defender behind them and then they just pump on the brakes and get that defender out of control. That's a big one there to get yourself to the free throw line after those consecutive 3 balls by Kentucky.
Wade Taylor, the fourth, had 35 against Florida Atlantic, 34 again, then fourth-ranked Houston, and 31 against Kentucky when the Cats were number 6 in the nation. An A&M team whose resume is a bit underappreciated. The Houston game came on the road in Houston, and they were playing without Boots Radford. They also have a win against Iowa State, among a couple other quad 1A wins. Now or never, it feels like, for the Cats, and their fans can feel it. Dillingham puts it on the deck, finds Edwards for the dunk. First bucket for Justin Edwards, and here's full court pressure. A&M just gets it across the timeline. Obatsky uses the timeout. Buzz is going to slow it down and figure out the press break. It is an 8-point left in the first half. Alyssa, what's the mood in the Kentucky huddle?
Yeah, the emphasis right now is we want to play fast, we want to speed it up, but guys, don't foul. You got to be able to do that without committing any fouls. Big Z into the lineup now to add some size at the rim. But Cal saying plenty of time, guys, just a couple of baskets, we'll be okay.
Well, there is 0 rim protection. Texas A&M is 14 of 17 at the rim. Now Mitchell inside, and Kentucky can't afford just to keep trading buckets. Misic with the steal. Dump off for Reeves. And Reeves is able to draw the foul. This is what Kentucky needed.
Wade Taylor has been the best player on the court. 30 points, 11 of 23. But to close games out, you got to have great decision-making from your point guard. A left-hand full-court pass diagonally is just not the decision to make. Great anticipation by Big Z.
Antonio Reeves at the free throw line. 88% on the season. Knocks down the first. He's finally into double figures. The guy averages 20.2 per game. Edwards returns, and Ivisha should sit down. Cats have made 6 of their last 6, but the Aggies have been working from ahead. Have made 5 of 6. 11 for Reeves. Here's full court pressure, and here's the Kentucky crowd. Baseball pass to Garcia. Nearly walked with it. Downhill, Radford. He's fouled, and he's going to the line. This A&M team tougher than a $2 steak. Boots Radford has 23. The fans cannot believe it.
They have had an answer for everything Kentucky has shown them. Kentucky goes man, zone, full court press. It doesn't matter. Same result. Hard drives to the rim. Seek out the contact and finish. What is that? 15 of 18 now, right at the rim.
The body control for Boots Radford to score at the rim is next level. We got a lane violation and wave that one off.
And despite all that, this game well within reach for Kentucky. And if you can keep chipping away at this and somehow get a stop to follow up your score, you can put the pressure on A&M, who's been playing loose all night, make the Aggies play tight down the stretch.
Taylor with the push. It's his third personal. 3:37 to play, and the clock stops again.
And Kentucky's got to remind themselves that A&M is the one that has everything to play for. And the pressure should be on the Aggies in the last few minutes, and Kentucky needs to be the team playing loose and free.
Kentucky advanced to the 3-seed line last night with Duke's loss in the ACC tournament. I'd love to hold on to that positioning. Missed the front end. .30-point game for Wade Taylor, the fourth. Works on Shepard. Floater off the back of the rim. Dillingham setting up Washington for the drive. Can't go. Ivisic, no. Reeves tracks it down. Mitchell to Dillingham. Hammer to Shepard. And Mitchell lost a chance at the offensive rebound.
Had some good looks, didn't they? Between the missed 1-and-1 by Antonio Reeves and a missed open corner 3 by Shepard. You're accustomed to seeing those go down.
A rare miss at the rim for Texas A&M.
Got numbers.
Dillingham lost it on his way in, and he turned it over. The Kentucky bench, as a group, beside themselves that there was no whistle.
I thought he lost his footing. Let's see if he lost it on his own or if a defender caused it. Right there, he plants and turns his ankle a little bit. He didn't even get up looking for the call.
The second time Dillingham has just kicked one out of bounds on a drive. 13th turnover of the game for Kentucky. A&M has cashed in for 14 points off those turnovers. Basicki using some clock. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Goes right into Mitchell. Banks it in. Here's Reeves on the other end, and he answers. It is an 8-point game with a Kentucky timeout and 2:03 to play. It's just hard to imagine Kentucky could win. Jumps over the last 5 during this win streak to 99.5. Shepard will be on the ball. They're putting Ivisic in the front court on Garcia. Into Radford. Now Taylor finds it. Toys with it before finding Obaseki. Under 2 to play. Dillingham all the way out of midcourt on Taylor.
I would not bring a ball screen. Just let him take Dillingham off the bounce. Trust your playmaker.
Wide open is Radford. And a foul on the floor on the rebound is going to go against Ivisic.
Doug Childs gets a compliment.
That's right.
Maybe a backhanded one from John Calipari. Anderson Garcia, who's always so active on the offensive glass, the best in the SEC, as he gets inside position on Ivisic and gets the call with the over the back.
They may play in the Adriatic League, but not in Nashville Friday night. Garcia's got another one.
But that all starts, whether you like the call or not, it's Garcia being a step ahead of everybody else, anticipating the shot going up and getting inside position as if he's going for a defensive rebound when he's on the offensive end.
This pump from Garcia, 2 big makes, 10-point lead for A&M, looking for its second win against Kentucky this season. Dillingham with a burst right through traffic, lost it again. It goes off of A&M, perhaps off of Taylor. And Buzz is saying, look at it, look at it. He didn't think it hit any of the... Shepard in the far corner. Ball for Dillingham.
He's good going to his left for three off the bounce.
Penetrates, looking for the whistle. Follow jam by Mitchell. Cats have made 8 of their last 9. Pardon me, 8 of their last 10, and a quick timeout taken by Trey Mitchell in Kentucky. It's an 8-point deficit with 1:17 to play.
You're A&M. You did everything right here. You forced a tough 2, and you just got to get inside position there. Obaseki allows Mitchell to box him out the same way Garcia did on the other end, and a big-time play by Mitchell.
Spurs worried about this one. What a difference 1:17 can make to a lot of folks. Inbound to Garcia, and a foul from Shepard. They sent Anderson Garcia, the senior, to the free throw line.
Shepard with the foul, his 3rd personal foul.
Joe Lunardi has chimed in with an A&M win tonight. They would jump Virginia and move a spot up among the last 4 in. UVA has NC State tonight in D.C.
Come on, Joe, you get a season sweep of Kentucky, only worth 1 spot.
Another one coming for Garcia, who played his high school ball just down the road of Hamilton Heights. Over in Chattanooga, he was originally a Bulldog at Mississippi State, playing for Ben Howland before he came to A&M. Two clutch free throws for Anderson Garcia. Lead is 10 again. Shepard just looking to fire. Now Dillingham will do the same. Dillingham crosses over. 1 minute to play. Here's Reeves. They just can't get a clean look. And now Dillingham has his shot blocked. Taken away by Obaseki off the tip from Taylor.
Kentucky was searching for the 3-ball in that possession, and A&M just sold out on the 3-point shot, running these guys off the line, saying, hey, we'll give them a 2, but the 3s is what can allow Kentucky to come back late in this game. And that sense of urgency and desperation on those closeouts is the way A&M has been playing in the month of March.
Trey Mitchell is fouled out with under a minute to play. And Manny Obaseki going to the free throw line.
In that first meeting, Tom, it was all Taylor, all Radford, nobody else in double figures. But what makes this team even more dangerous now is this guy at the stripe gives them that 3rd score, 14 points.
It's not what Big Blue Nation had in mind coming into Nashville on a roll. I'm sure their spirits were high when their rivals from Knoxville started the day with a loss, and now we are 51 seconds away from seeing the top 2 seeds eliminated on Friday. Ivisic.
Too slow, huh?
Nearly turned it over. He did, as a matter of fact.
Late clock offense, late game situation. I don't know that you want Big Z having the ball 35 feet away. You want Dillingham to try to come get that, create something off the bounce.
Hey, before we celebrate A&M's win, let's kind of put a bow on this thing for Kentucky. What does this mean for Kentucky right now, big picture going into the NCAA tournament?
I think we know what their offense is, and their defense has improved, and they've taken some steps forward to close out the regular season, evidenced by the great effort they showed in Knoxville. But they took a step back tonight, and that's what happened. And it can be that way when you go up against a team that still is in rhythm from the previous night. And A&M showed that they were the more aggressive, more desperate team. But it doesn't really change my mind on the ceiling for Kentucky. I think nobody can wait to get them in the tournament. You don't want to face them on your side of the bracket, but you know you got a chance because of their defensive miscues.
Late surge for Dillingham, his 5th 3. He's got 27. Shot clock is off. Garcia pushes it ahead to Obaseki, and A&M can just hold it.
Tom, coming into this tournament, the two teams that had the most to gain and most to lose were Chris Jans at Mississippi State and Buzz Williams and the Aggies. And the bubble teams have shown up to Nashville and solidified themselves as NCAA tournament teams.
Reeves fouls out. Second cat to be DQ'd tonight. And Obaski stands at the free throw line. Junior out of Allen, Texas. In his high school ball at John Paul II in Plano. He was a 4-star recruit coming to A&M. But he was underutilized in many ways over his first couple of seasons, and maybe for the first half of this season, where he was just a backup point guard for a good chunk of the year.
What a great lesson about staying ready for your opportunity. They go on that losing streak, they insert him into the starting lineup, and the rest is history. This guy has been sensational now for 5 consecutive games.
A&M guard trio has 72 of the Aggies' 97 points. There's something to be said for the experience this A&M team has in this event. Every year they come in desperate to leave an impression. Vicic with the dunk. And they have done just that tonight. They will send Kentucky home early once again. The top 2 seeds have been eliminated from the SEC tournament. First Tennessee and now Kentucky. 7-time Cats have allowed 90 points plus in a game. Most since 1990.
Without destiny fall, lost in the darkness, can't find my way. My heart's gone missing, led astray. In the depths of sorrow, I search in vain for the pieces of my heart lost in pain. Where did it go? I ask in despair, in the empty echoes. No one's there. I wander aimlessly through the night, hoping to reclaim what once was right. My heart's been lost in the shadows of doubt. I'll find it again. I'll scream and shout through the trials and tears. I'll never stop till my heart is found and the pain drops gone. In the silence of the night, I hear his call. A distant whisper through the wall. I follow the sound with hope renewed, knowing deep inside my heart's imbued with strength and courage. I'll forge ahead through the darkness where my heart has fled. For in the depths of despair, I find my light and reclaim my heart with all my heart's better lost in the shadows of doubt. I'll find it again. I'll scream and shout through the trials and tears. I'll never stop till my heart is found and the pain drops on. With every step I take, I draw near to the beating of my heart loud and clear. For though it was lost, it's never too late to find my heart again and